Hey everyone, what's going on? This is Ash and Rima from Mass Effect Odyssey, and today we bring you another theory, and this time we are speaking about theories in regards to wormholes. Now, this is another one where we've basically just been talking randomly for the last nearly hour now, again, and it's kind of wormed its way into
that was unintentional,
unintended pun, but it's wormed its way into a theory, we think, and it's to do with wormholes and a specific part of the trailer that we've kind of had a closer look at, and a picture that kind of explains kind of distance and that kind of thing between us and the Andromeda galaxy. So I'm going to hand over to Rima.
Okay.
And she can try and explain what, basically, I can't remember. So, continue.
So, a while back we were looking at the BioWare forums to kind of have a look at what people thought. Because we do every so often to have a look at what people are thinking about, like, stories and stuff. And in July 2015, someone called Kaboom released a little, like, post about how there was actually a little snippet from Mass Effect 2 about how the Volus had actually confirmed that they had thought of a way to actually make wormholes. It's buried now. Mass Effect 2 has a lot of like lore buried in news network like announcements and stuff that you don't just pick up when you're playing the game.
Yeah.
Which all the service daily news and archives, you can go and have a read of it. We'll link it up for you.
Yep.
But basically it says that the ongoing Volus Physical Society meeting in Irun, Volus scientist Derek Zoll unveils a new theory about how black holes can be used for interstellar travel. He says, it's true, black holes surrounding any vicious environment, whether it's a million-star massive black hole at the galactic center, or your regular run-of-the-mill solar mass black hole in the galactic disk, if it's surrounded by a sphere of EZO, or element zero, it will turn into a wormhole, opening a gate to a different part of the galaxy, or who knows, even maybe beyond. So, in that part, it kind of confirms that the Volus have a working theory about how to make a wormhole. A working theory about how to make a wormhole from different parts of the galaxy, and also a possible wormhole to a different galaxy, maybe? So, it's interesting. So, we were looking at this, and we thought, okay, so in the Mass Effect universe itself, they have the beginning thoughts about how to do this. So then that kind of made us look at like other pictures and stuff like that. And we were first looking at we looked at this picture, and it's actually, I don't know where it's from, we'll find the source for it, but
yes.
It's basically, it looks like it's come from a textbook, and it shows the local cluster of like all the galaxies, all your different like galaxies, things like that, and shows you like how far everything away is, but it kind of puts everything on a 3D plane rather than just on your like 2D plane. So when you think about everything, it kind of feels like everything's going to be in line, everything's on the same plane, where even though the Andromeda galaxy is really, really supposedly the closest galactic partner to us at like 2.5 million light years, it's still nowhere near us.
Yeah.
Not only it's 2.5 million light years away, far away from us, but it's on a different plane altogether. It's like on a it's like, if you look at the picture, it almost makes it feel like it's like really far north above us.
Yeah.
And like even like the mini galaxies that surround Andromeda are like super further away from it. So considering like we've done the theory about Black Arc, and we talked about someone else's theory who'd done Black Arc, and we still think it's a very good theory.
Yes.
But when you look at it, when you look at the picture this way, to think that you have to maybe navigate from the Milky Way to the Andromeda galaxy, even if you could get something that could actually do the distance, the navigation part might be the issue, because when you actually start traveling between galaxies, there's nothing to actually navigate with. It's just dark space.
Yes.
You probably won't see anything. There's nothing.
And that kind of led us on to the point of, if that's the case,
there has to be a different way to get there.
Yes.
That's going to be more direct rather than just flowing, and more convenient. So then we had another look at one of the conceptual prototypes that came out when the 2014 E3 trailer, which was of this figure standing over a galactic map, and what you see is you kind of see him looking over a galaxy map, but at the middle of the galaxy map, it seems to be, there's like, if you look at the Mass Effect 1, 2, 3 galaxy maps, it kind of looks like there's like a core, and that kind of symbolizes the galactic core in my head. But in the Mass Effect Andromeda conceptual prototype, it looks like it's actually a wormhole in the middle. It almost seems like there's like it's a spiral rather than it's actually a core. You can't really see it because he's blocking the view, but it doesn't seem to have that like emitting light. It seems to be kind of like going into something. So that kind of made us think, if you put into the fact that maybe the Volus were thinking of maybe making black holes and using that to make wormholes, specifically talking about things like suns in the galactic core or black holes in the galactic core, what if they managed to somehow make a wormhole from the Milky Way's galactic core to the Andromeda's galactic core, and that you kind of emerge in the middle of the Andromeda galaxy rather than at the accretion disk, which was something we thought would be interesting. That's a lot of stuff I've just spewed there. It doesn't I can understand if it doesn't make sense to people in their head because it doesn't barely make sense in my head.
Yeah. This is ramblings of the last hour condensed down to a
and considering how dangerous that would be, because I don't know if this is right, but the collector base was in the middle of the galaxy, wasn't it? It was in the middle of the galactic core.
Yes.
So that would assume that you would actually manage to get the Omega-4 relay working again, if that is still working after the end of Mass Effect 3.
Yes.
And that you'd find your way to go there to actually put Ezo around a black hole to then cause it to turn into a wormhole, theoretically, to then actually use that wormhole and hope that you end up in the middle of the Andromeda Galaxy.
Yes.
Whether they did that with another... They could have, as the Volus guy said, you could do with any black hole, apparently. And who to trust, the Volus, you know? Geniuses. They are meant to be like little engineering geniuses, though, aren't they?
Yes.
They're not biotic gods, but they're engineering geniuses.
No, that was just drunk ramblings.
So let's say the Volus are right. They managed to do that. They make little black holes, and they actually managed to make those. They use black holes to make wormholes, and they managed to get themselves into the Andromeda Galaxy.
Yeah.
That brought us onto the trailer. Now, none of these were actually. We never did this in a train of thought. We kind of did this randomly.
Yeah.
So we looked at the trailer, and we do this every so often. We look at the trailer, we slow down the speed really, really slowly, and we have a look. And what we were looking at this time was the galaxy map that the guy's scrolling through, and he's having a look, and he's like, "Oh, cool! Like, I want to go here." And there's a specific shot which we'll show in the video of he's got a place, and it says your location, and then he picks the place he wants to go, and then all you see is your destination or FTL destination in red, and you see a light. There's a line going from your location to FTL destination, and all you see is that line starts to like become bolder, and it seems to be like the line seems to like a light along the line.
Yes.
Almost like the light is traveling along the line. And the fact that it says FTL destination and the fact that the light's glowing, it almost seems like it is like you're traveling across that line. And the fact that a wormhole or like some kind of conduit kind of forms once that screen disappears, it almost seems like you jumped into FTL drive, basically.
Yeah.
And that's basically the interesting thought there, that you could basically just touch it and you jump into FTL.
Yeah.
It almost seems like you don't even see them going to anything to do, like you don't even see them going to a relay.
Yeah. It's purely there then, and then they're at the planet they've selected. So it's very quick.
Yeah, it's very interesting. What we also got from that is that both your location and the FTL destination, they seem to be orbiting suns, or they are suns of some sort.
Yeah.
They almost look like they are stars of some sort, and that all the other like locations that seem to be, we assume they're locations. The other locations seem to all kind of be linked to each other, and they all seem to be moving. And they're all like joined to each other, and there seems to be that same kind of thin line. So we had a few thoughts. Maybe it's possibly that there's some kind of like network or wormhole network, because there are obviously theories about that. There are theories that the entire universe has this weird network of wormholes that we just can't perceive at this point in time. But what if all these locations are just actually made up of networks, and whatever technology the ship has just allows you to access that? Or possibly, is there actually another kind of relay system that is connected, almost like Stargates, that you're able to kind of just like go from place to place using wormholes, but they're all connected? And it kind of brings you the idea that maybe Pathfinders is actually a very literal term. Maybe they're actually trying to physically find the path to something.
Yeah.
and that these things are all different paths to different locations, and that we're just stumbling and exploring, trying to find one singular path to something.
It does seem
And now
like,
my brain hurts.
yeah, it does seem, like you said there, and it's actually a very good point, which is something we didn't really kind of touch upon when we were discussing it before. But it does seem like there is very much pathways physically there on that map for us to either follow, or that particular person has already followed. And it looks like they're trying to find their way somewhere to something. Which, in terms of story, could be the way it goes. You're actually, like you're saying, is very literally a pathfinder. You are actually trying to find your way to a specific thing, to find something very specific for a specific reason. And that's where your whole story comes from for the first game. And lots of people are saying now that it's not just Mass Effect Andromeda, that it's going to be pretty much like Halo. They're going to do like an original trilogy, and then they're going to do a second trilogy. And there's so much kind of rumour flying around now that it's going to be a new trilogy going on for Mass Effect, which is fine by me and fine by you, I assume.
Well, it would be interesting. If whether, so when we never obviously get to see what happens prior to the first we don't even get to see the first Contact Wars, but the interesting idea that the Asari kind of like discovered like the Citadel and basically laid work for the rest of the galaxy to kind of network. Basically, the mass relays kind of got discovered and things like that. And what if we're kind of doing that? What if we're kind of laying the groundwork for the new trilogies to kind of expand in this universe?
Yeah.
So we were kind of shouting. A lot of people shouted for a prequel for Mass Effect the series, so to see what happened before like humans kind of started getting into the game. What if this is kind of their way of doing it? They're kind of establishing how a new galaxy was discovered, and created for a further story down the line. Yeah. But it's weird. I don't know. We've been trying to analyze this specific page for ages because we're trying to figure out all these little like, I guess, abbreviations mean. TMP, GTN, things like that. Like, there's a lot of, like, because all these terms, we thought they could mean things, but then in certain contexts they could be okay, but certain contexts we don't. So we don't know what they mean. But what we can decipher is it seems to be that FTL travel is definitely going to be a thing. Yeah. It seems to almost be instantaneous. It doesn't seem to be that you need to use the other technology.
We were saying that essentially kind of partnered with the idea of the Volus saying, oh yes, we think we found a way to, make a wormhole. We think they somehow used that or something from that to basically put a wormhole in a ship or something at the core of the ship that can basically control its own wormhole, find its destination, go from point A to point B within seconds, exactly like it does in the trailer.
And that kind of alludes to the fact that this game is centuries past.
way in the future. Yeah. I mean, I think the term I used was hundreds, if not thousands of years. So,
well, to be able to kind of the fact that they're relying on like that would assume that they've actually made their own technology to do that. Yeah. And it's weird because like how archaic the weapons seem in the trailer compared to the ability to use instantaneous wormhole travel to jump between star systems. I mean, it's a really strange.
It's kind of a mix of old and new, isn't it? Mm. And the one thing that, like, for doing research for other bits and pieces for the channel, I did a few days ago, I did come across something where basically someone had their own timeline theory saying that it's potentially not as far after Mass Effect 3 as we all think, because the technology hasn't really advanced too much, whereas you look at the gun that he brandishes at the beginning of the trailer, it's pretty much the same way as you had in Mass Effect 3. Fair enough. The Mako, it's different and it's new and improved, but it doesn't seem like a massive jump in technology compared to the old one. Okay, fine.
This seems like a massive jump in technology.
Then you get to the point where you maybe realise that your ship has control of wormholes at will. Yeah. And you can go from one point to another point, basically wherever you want. And that seems like a pretty big jump in technology to us. So, so we're thinking it's going to be at least a few hundred years, maybe.
And I think there's a few other things we might want to add. It's nothing to do with wormholes, but it's a few things we added from the trailer itself. So, we also kind of thought that maybe, because you were saying maybe TMP meant things like temperature, things like that.
Yes.
It might mean that there is a dot on there. There's like a little star system that says TMP that's linked to ARC. So we don't know whether that does mean temperature or it's actually like maybe another like hub world or home world or something. But there's a lot of information on this map.
Yes.
A lot more information that was on the actually original galaxy map. So we were thinking that if this guy requires everything to be on one thing, he must have to do, like, if you look at the Normandy, there were so many crewmen looking at, like, navigation, communications, things like that. It seems to be everything's on this one map.
Yeah.
So it seems to be that there must be a much smaller crew complement on whoever this dude's ship is.
Yeah.
He's got a lot more, like, control. Whether that's maybe because he just has a lot more control of his ship or not, but it seems to be there's a lot of information on this map. Also, we looked at the little, like, in the trailer you can see there's a little orby thing that seems to either be displaying the galaxy map. It's either a holographic thing, or we thought it could possibly be an AI as well.
Yeah.
We're not really sure. Because it seems to be kind of like almost, I don't know, it almost seems to be that it seems to be editing information. It's like it's live.
Yeah.
Like the information, the planets are moving, or whatever those things are, they're moving. So it's not like a stationary thing.
Yeah,
it's almost like it's
they're
updating.
They're almost updating or orbiting wherever
Something.
they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's almost like it's like live updating, which is very it could be a VI, AI, or even just a really advanced computer that's just like some kind of displaying device, but it's very advanced because it seems to be updating as it goes.
Yeah.
There's information just popping up everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So that's some other thoughts we had from looking at the screen. Wish we could read more into it, but we can't because it's hurting our brains.
That's about as far as our limit goes. That was an hour conversation reduced into a 17-ish minute recording.
We've talked very fast. We apologise.
Yes.
Or I apologise because I'm the one who's been talking
You did
very,
the
very
talk
fast.
the most, yeah. So unfortunately, I have a problem with not remembering things that well. So yeah, but yeah, that's kind of our theory on it. Let us know what you think. Let us know in the comments below if you have anything to add to the theory, or if you have your own kind of theory based on what we've kind of pointed out here. Then again, let us know in the comments below. And again, thank you very much for watching the video. You can always subscribe to us to keep up to date with all things Mass Effect, and you can help the channel to grow by sharing the video too. And again, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again next time.